Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Will Dupree coming to you from the KXAN live studio on what is shaping up to be a pretty gray day so far out there. We're looking live from one of our Texas Department of Transportation cameras. Traffic's moving along pretty nicely, but we want to get you to the really important stuff because our first warning weather team here at KXAN is sharing a little bit of information today about what you need to look out for with a severe weather potential coming in later today and maybe over the next 24 hours. So joining us for that update is meteorologist Rich Segal. Rich, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Will. Good morning, and good morning to all of you watching.
Yeah, we want to get into that radar really quickly. So maybe just start with the timing of all this, because that may be on the top of mind for people out there.
Right. We're going to start with a little light rain in some of the area as early as noon today. We've had a little bit of drizzle and mist this morning. We noted that on our weather cams and telling us the ground truth of, yes, there was a little bit of moisture. But as we check out the map, it's just all green as we head through time and we get into the afternoon. And we start to see a few thunderstorms flare up in parts of our eastern viewing area, Bastrop into Fayette, Caldwell. Now, this is an update from earlier this morning when we saw some of these storms in our metro communities of Williamson, Travis, and Hayes. So this is this afternoon, and then those storms will continue to march off towards the east. We'll see most of the active, well, I don't want to say active, we'll see most of the showers and thunderstorms this afternoon on into the evening affecting our eastern viewing area. But very late tonight, as we look to the future, we are going to see some storms that will start to fire up. There you see them in San Saba and Lampasas counties. This has held tight for the last 3 days. We've been looking at the future clouds and radar and seeing this, and so they'll continue to blossom into Llano, Burnett, and far northwestern Williamson County. I don't have my glasses with me. I'm sorry, I forgot to bring them. They're in my office. But this is early Thursday morning, and then the storms will reach I-35 during the overnight hours. This is the greatest concern for us, is that these storms will hit at the time when just about everyone except TV people and law enforcement officials will be asleep. But nevertheless, that's what happens during the overnight. And then the storms intensify as they move across parts of Bastrop, Milam, Lee counties as we still approach sunrise. But we're going to find the last bit of these storms moving across eastern Lee and Fayette counties before they exit on out for the morning. And then there'll be just a little bit of rain during the afternoon. Now, this caused concern for us, especially for our viewers in western San Saba and much of Mason counties. We don't get the orange shade, the enhanced risk area of severe weather too often, but when it does, it draws our attention because an enhanced risk area is greater than the slight risk area. There's a greater threat of hail. There's even a greater threat of potential tornadoes. The rest of the area in that yellow shade, this was also a change because part of this yellow shade did not pick up all of the rest of our viewing area, but it's mostly a slight risk for most of our KXAN viewing area. But again, we're watching that area of Richland Springs on down through Mason westward. Keep in mind that parts of those two counties are picked up in that risk area as it was drawn out. So when it picks up part of the two counties, we are concerned for the rest of the county as well. The severe threats, I think more tonight, will come from gusty winds like we had on Sunday, about 58 miles per hour or higher. We'll also have some hail. Now, we're looking at the potential of hail an inch in diameter or larger. And yes, the threat of isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out just because the atmosphere is so juiced and we have one disturbance that's going to move overhead during the nighttime hours. This is also something that caught our attention. We do not get a moderate flash flood threat very often, but when it happens, it draws our attention immediately. And I'm frankly, well, I'm surprised that this flood threat doesn't encompass more of San Saba County and Llano County, where the storms are expected to be active during the late night hours. But when this happens, of course, it's looking at the potential for some flooding rains in the area. It's more of a flood threat than a flash flood threat, but realistically speaking, that will be a possibility for Lampasas and Burnett counties, northeastern Blanco. This is just to the northeast of Johnson City, and then on into northern Hayes, northern Caldwell counties, and then for the rest of the viewing area. Meanwhile, that yellow shade is a slight risk where the flood threat is minimal. The moderate flash flood risk days don't happen very often. Kristen created this graphic that she showed this morning on KXAN News Today and during Austin CW mornings on CW on our CW station. It only happens very infrequently, and when it does, it can lead to injury or fatality if people don't pay attention to the barricades and the barriers that are set up across the area. There's also the potential of property damage, and as she noted there, 45 moderate risk days in Central Texas since 2016, and that's an average of 6 per year. So we'll be paying attention to that. Now, here's the question that a lot of people want to know the answer to. I think this next graphic I have is the amount of rain that could be received. Let me try to hit the space bar one more time. Okay, technology doing its job.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to keep trying to hit this. You know what I think happened? I think the person in the weather office has turned off the computer because it's not popping up. So I apologize for that. So let me just go into that a little bit further.
Sure.
All of the rain totals that we were looking at in our area, outside of Gillespie, southern Llano, and southern Blanco counties, we're looking at more than an inch of rain to some more than 2 inches to 1 gauge in San Saba, showing a little more than 3. Now, if we can get a 2 to 3 inch rain total in parts of our viewing area, especially out in the hill country, and if it falls on the right waterways that flow into the Highland Lakes, we'll be very happy. So we're talking about the Colorado River near San Saba, the Llano River at Llano, the Sandy Creek near Kingsland, and the Pedernales River both at Johnson City and at Fredericksburg. That Pedernales rain gauge probably is not going to give us much rain based on the present trends that we see. But again, our concern tonight is going to be from strong wind, hail, and some moderate to heavy rainfall. We're staffed very adequately for it. Jim is going to be here late tonight. Kristen will be in early so she can talk to you. And one of the things that Kristen always says, and we cannot stress this enough, and then I'll stop talking, is that you should plan for breaking weather, have a way to get alerts. We always encourage you to download the KXAN weather app, set it to your area. It will alert you with that loud, shrill tone when there is severe weather in your area, and then tune in to Jim or Kristen, whoever happens to be working, to find out what's going on. Have a way to get this information because, again, most of this looks like it's going to happen while most people are asleep.
Now, we should point out again that on air we will have you covered, but also on our website at kxan.com. Our weather team, including Rich, will be updating that story with the latest information. So if you don't happen to catch one of our newscasts, check that out on our website because the latest details will be shared there. And Rich, thank you so much for highlighting the resources that will be allocated to this.
One more thing real quick.
Sure.
We always appreciate, and we can't thank our viewers enough for the pictures and the videos that they send. Now, if you can get video or picture, make sure you're doing it safely. Do not put yourself in danger by going outside to look at the hail to see how big the hail is. Wait until you have a safe opportunity to do so. And again, we can't say it enough. Thank you for all the times you give us ground truth reports of the severe weather and the flooding in our area.
I think that's a good place to end it. So meteorologist Rich Segal, thank you so much for this update. I know a lot of people are paying attention to it, and the resources will be available. You said Jim Spencer's coming in a little bit earlier today to monitor everything and stay a little bit later too because, again, those overnight hours, maybe reiterate that, Rich, before we go, the timing of all this, when people really should expect to see something.
I'd say between 11 p.m. in San Saba, Lampasas, maybe even northern Llano. Well, let's just say Lampasas, San Saba, Llano, Mason counties, just in case these storms sag a little further to the south. And so look for that about between 11 and 1, and then on our I-35 doorstep between about 1 and 3, and then off to the east between 3 and 7. For Fayette County, you'll be the last ones to get these storms. They should start to hit you between 5 and 7 a.m.
Rich Segal, thank you again so much for providing this update. I know a lot of people at home are watching on Facebook at this point and commenting about this, so we appreciate that too. And we hope that you all will stay with us throughout the day, into this evening, and into the early morning hours as this severe weather potentially picks up then. So again, that is Rich Segal. I'm Will Dupree. We will see you back here at another time with other updates. So everybody stay safe and healthy out there. Take care.